Today we are actually tackling a big question that I get all the time. And the question is, does this stuff actually work? This stuff right here, does it actually work? That's what we are going to be talking about. You have probably heard the hype, on blogs, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever it is that you may have heard it. Maybe even from your Aunt Shirley or whoever her name is, right? Everyone says apple cider vinegar, it's a miracle, for blood sugar. Is it the case? But here's the thing. Science doesn't care about the hype. It doesn't matter how many people are talking about. So after many years of me and my wife or my wife and I helping patients with diabetes, I have seen something that works. And I'm going to see if apple cider, I'm going to let you know if that is one of the things that we think are going to be helpful for you in controlling your diabetes, so that we can stop the noise or maybe prolong the noise. What do you think?
Yeah, so spoiler alert, right? So apple cider vinegar can help, but only if you use it right. And if you get it wrong, it could backfire big time. Big time backfire. And that is not something you want to have happening to you. So today we will break down the real science, no jargons, just the facts. And you will learn a lot here today. One simple trick to make, to make sure that apple cider vinegar works for you. The biggest mistakes that people make, we're going to be talking about, and also talk about exactly how much to take and all that. Yes, so stick around. We've got more, including safe recipes that you can use apple cider. So let's separate truth from the hype. Ready? All right, so we are going to be talking about, the first thing is the science behind, apple cider vinegar. Well, we're actually going to be calling it ACV for the most part, because it's a mouthful saying it all over, over and over again. So the science behind apple cider vinegar, the components. Yeah, and we also talk about the studies and research behind that. Right, and from there, we're also actually going to give you some step-by-step guide, how and when, how much to take, when to take, or how much it actually, it actually works for you if you have to. And we will talk about the pros and cons for diabetics. We're going to talk about the pros and cons for diabetics for you. All right, so now let's begin with the first one, which is the science behind apple cider vinegar, for diabetes, of course. So the first thing is, as apple cider vinegar contains some things, some good stuff, components, some constituents that make it perhaps useful, right? And the first one I want to talk about is actually what we call acetic acid. Now, if you don't have to know how it is said, you just believe it is called acetic acid. And the way it is that acetic acid is actually the superstar of apple cider vinegar. It is the superstar, right? It's the major thing there that supposedly helps with its benefits. And this is what actually gives, apple cider vinegar its sour kick. If you have tasted it before, it's sour taste. If you have tried it before, you know that there's some sourness to it, and the sour taste is actually because of acetic acid. I'm going to put it where people on this place can also see it. But yeah, so think of it like, a traffic cop, a policeman directing traffic, right? For your digestion, of course. When you take apple cider vinegar or ACV before a meal, acetic acid slows down how fast your body actually breaks down the carbohydrates that you are taking. And as a result, what happens is less sugar is going to rush into your body, to your blood, of course, and then you end up with fewer blood sugar spikes. Yep. So I think I'll talk about the second one, right? Yep. So the second component of apple cider vinegar is the polyphenols. Exactly. And don't forget the polyphenols, okay? So this is an antioxidant from apples. They are like tiny bodyguards fighting inflammation, which is a big deal in diabetes. My goodness. Remember, inflammation, diabetes is potentially
completely an inflammatory disease, right? If you know about inflammation, it's inflammation of the pancreas. We could start from there. So, if you have polyphenols or polyphenols, then obviously you're going to prevent further damage. If you have some, beta cell function still remaining, you're going to decrease the damage to them because you're getting the protective benefits of the polyphenols, which are antioxidants. And the other thing is ACV or apple cider vinegar is something that also contains probiotics. Probiotics, it's responsible for what we call the murkiness. If you look at it, it's also called the mother. It has probiotics and it also has enzymes, which make it able to, help you digest and also make sure that your gut is full of the beneficial bacteria or the gut flora, becoming better or healthier for you. So those are that's some of the things that also happen as a result of you taking ACV. Trying to say the full name again, but as a result of you taking acidic apple cider vinegar, a mouthful again. All right, and so if you think about it, then it's a couple of things going on. We have the acetic acid plus the polyphenols, and then plus the mother coming together to form what we call a teamwork. And remember that as long as you do it in moderation, you are going to have a benefit of apple cider vinegar. If you do it if you overdo it, what we call backfire is what's going to happen. It's going to backfire and give you some problems.
Yeah, so you always have to dilute it, right? You never skip talking to your doctor first because it's something new that you are taking. So we always encourage you that whenever you start anything new, you have to make sure that you talk to your doctor before taking it.
All right. So if you haven't used it before, and because of this show you want to try using, or you want to start taking some ACV or apple cider vinegar, you definitely have to let your doctor know.
So there are studies that we want to go over to see whether really this apple cider vinegar really work. So there was a study in 2021. Meta-analysis was done of 11 trials, 500 plus people, right? And the results showed that people that took apple cider vinegar tend to have their A1C reduced. What we learned is that the reduction wasn't that much, right? It was only 0.3 to 0.7% over 8 to 12 weeks. So that was what the study found out. It did reduce it a little bit, but not a whole lot.
0.3 to 0.7%. And actually, one study, I think this is also the same study, also shows that the reduction in glucose production, from after you eat, what we call postprandial glucose production. Glucose that comes into your blood after you have eaten, just after you have eaten, it was reduced by about 20%. 20%. And that resulted in the reduction in the A1C, which is 0.3 to 0.7%. So there is some reduction there, but as we move forward, we will let you know what we think about that reduction, whether it is enough, and whether that is a cause for you to potentially just stop taking your medications or not. We will make sure that we bring that up to you, but definitely that is what we think happened. At least that's what the study is saying. Now, the second study is also a study that looked at the benefits of using ACV or apple cider vinegar along with diet or not. They compared two groups of people. One group had just their diet, watching and being careful with their diet, and another group took apple cider vinegar on top of good diet. And they also had about only 39 people in the group, which is not a robust group for study if you have only 39 people. But that being said, they still saw something. And what they saw was that the people who had apple cider with diet saw about 1.2% reduction in their A1C versus the people who just did diet alone. So that group also had 0.7%. So in other words, having the apple cider vinegar on top of having their diet going produced some synergetic effects as far as glucose control is concerned.
Yeah. So the takeaway from this study was that apple cider vinegar amplifies the benefits of healthy eating, but isn't it a standalone solution? So in other words, you cannot just take apple cider and eat anyhow and expect your A1C to go down. So you can watch your diet, choose the right foods, and in addition to that, add the apple cider, and you can see a bigger effect than just doing one thing and not the other. So adding apple cider to it is beneficial according to the study.
My goodness, it's beneficial according to the study, right? It's beneficial according to the study. I think make sure that. Let me see my thing. I don't know why this thing is going in. All right. I hope you can still hear. Tina, if you are watching, let us know if you can still hear us, because I muted one aspect and you actually had a question here. You said that, did the study say how much they were drinking? Yes. How much? We wanted to save that for the last. We are going to talk to you about how much to take if you decide to take apple cider vinegar. And with that being said, we can say, well, just in case maybe you are not going to be watching to the end, we want to tell you that we're taking about 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, which is the recommended dose of apple cider vinegar. We're going to talk more about that later. But yes, that is what was happening. And yes, I think Tina is saying that she can hear us. She gave it thumbs up. All right. So with that being said, and I think there was another study. I put 3 studies, right?
Right.
The third study also looked at reduction in A1C again over a 12-week period. And they looked at a randomized study in 2018 that also looked at about 70 people. And they were doing 15 ml, which is 1 tablespoon of apple cider daily. And the average reduction in their A1C was by 0.5%, 0.5%, compared to the group that we call placebo, the group that did not take any apple cider vinegar. This group that had apple cider vinegar were only able to reduce their A1C, which is a measure of their glycosylated hemoglobin, by 0.5%. I don't know how big that is for your control, but 0.5%. But we're going to say what we think about that. All right, you want to talk about
so that the takeaway here is that taking apple cider may complement lifestyle changes, but effects are small as compared to medications, right? So because we know that medication can bring it down to under 6 if you take medication. So just taking only apple cider, the change is very minimal. So you can't just depend just on apple cider, hoping that your A1C will go down.
Definitely, you cannot just depend on that. That's what we have gleaned from the studies, right? And the benefits of, healthy eating becomes amplified if you take apple cider. So you are eating healthy and then you are adding on to it. Apple cider by itself cannot replace your medications because, as you already saw from the studies that we showed you, though the studies are not that robust, in other words, there's not too many people in the study to actually ascertain how effective apple cider is. We can still, there were 3 studies. One is a meta-analysis of about 11 trials. So we can basically say that it's good enough information. Though the sample sizes of the actual studies were small, we can say that it's a moderate benefit. So you cannot stop your medication and say that, as for me, I'm doing apple cider vinegar, so I'm good, man. Diabetes is going away. No, It is it's an additional effect to your medicines or your diet.
Your lifestyle.
Your lifestyle, basically, is adding onto it. And that is what we have to also say.
Yeah, and another takeaway is consistent daily use may also help stabilize blood sugar over a period of time. And I think we mentioned that it's 1 to 2 tablespoons and it should be diluted. You don't want to take it straight up, because I think we will talk about the side effect, the cons that comes with taking apple cider, but you have to take it diluted. So with our study, you have to take it on 8 ounces of water
or tea or any drink.
Okay, so water is preferred because water, we know, also has its own benefits. So 1 to 2 tablespoons diluted will help stabilize your blood sugar over a period of time.
So this brings us to the next step, which is a guide to using apple cider vinegar. So remember, what we gleaned, I want to make sure that we make it emphatic. What we gleaned from the studies show that the benefits of apple cider are moderate. In fact, they are not enough to replace your medicine. It's like, it's a supplement. That is what you should say. It's a supplement to whatever you are doing concerning your blood sugar levels. So if you are doing anything good, you got to keep doing it. You cannot stop. You got to keep doing it. So that is what that is. And now let's talk about how much. And
like you say, if you're doing anything good, you have to keep doing it. But now you have an additional tool.
Right.
You have an additional tool. So you are exercising. Your lifestyle is geared towards doing the right things. You're picking the right diets. You're doing all the right things. So you have another tool that you can, if only it's recommended by your doctor, or if only it's something that you can take. Because as we continue, we are going to mention people that it's not recommended for. So you have to know whether this one is something that you can add to your tools that you use in controlling your A1C.
All right. So now going to the guide. The first guide, which I think we already said, is to be consistent. Consistent use of 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. So somebody asked earlier, and we answered, but we just want to say it again, that the studies do not support drinking more than 2 tablespoons. So if you say, if it works, maybe if I drink a cupful, I can drink something better. So don't worry, I can drink a cup. No, a cup won't do any good.
Or maybe half of the bottle.
Or half of the bottle. It won't do. As a matter of fact, it's going to be hurting you if you do more than this. So it's just 1 or 2 tablespoons diluted in a big glass. If you want to bring your glass, because we tried one. So just a tablespoon, put in a glass like this, and add water to it. Right? Yes, 1 or 2 tablespoons, put in a glass like this, and fill it with water. Stir it and then drink it. I mean, it's not that tasty anyway. So if you want to drink more, you're not probably going to like it. I know some people can enjoy bitter drugs, but that being said, don't say that, I can drink it fine, so let me drink more. No, drinking more may actually be hurtful to you. So the key is that it's just 1 to 2 tablespoons in an 8-ounce glass of water and drink daily.
Like you said, tea.
Yes.
Or anything that you prefer to drink.
Yes. And that is what is going to help you do it. The next thing
is you have to take it before meals. So the study shows that it's well absorbed if you take it on empty stomach. So you just have to take it before your meal. I think the exact time the study did not really come up. We read one study that was talking about doing it breakfast, and other ones are talking about your big meal for the day. But you have to be consistent. You do it once a day, and before meal is preferred.
Once a day, preferably just before you eat, then you do it. And the other thing is that I saw one person that did a study on themselves, and they started it in the mornings before breakfast, and they did not see any improvement in their blood glucose levels. So they switched to the evening, before they went to bed, and then they saw improvement. So that is another thing you could do. If 1 to 2 teaspoons, don't make any changes in your blood sugar, and you do it in the morning, maybe switch to evening, especially if your blood sugars are higher during the morning times, because some people have morning blood sugar levels that are higher than in the day. So if that's the case, you could try taking it in the evening before you go to bed, and hopefully it will stop or slow down your glucose release from your own liver when you are sleeping. So that is the key there. So see where it helps you. If you get no benefit, at some point, switch to a different point or different time of day, testing your glucose, and you may find that taking it at a different time may be helpful. But the key, though, is to make sure you dilute it. Okay, I think we have to explain why. If we don't explain, somebody may say that, oh, you think I can't drink it? That's why you want me to put it in water. I can drink it bitter. No, that's not the key. The key is that it is an acetic acid. It's made up of acids. We just mentioned one, but other organic acids in there. Apart from acetic acid, there's malic acid. There's a bunch of other acids in there that may hurt your esophagus, your GI tract. It could even, cause a harm in your stomach, potentially even leading to ulcer if you drank it on an empty stomach, and especially in that concentrated form. So mixing it in water dilutes the acid, takes care of the acidity so that it becomes safer on your body. So don't just think that it's because it's better, that's why I want you to delete it. No, the key is that it will help make it safe for you. And there's another reason. Also, protect your teeth. The enamel of your teeth can erode because it's an acid. If you drank it without diluting it into any water, soon you see that your enamel will be getting worn out because of the acidity of the apple cider vinegar. So make sure that you dilute it, and of course don't overdo it. Only maximum of 2 tablespoons per day. Anything else?
Yeah, and another thing too, that if you feel like it's hurting your teeth when you drink it, you can use straw. Instead of drinking it directly from the glass, you put straw in the glass and so just drink it that way, so that it gets straight, avoiding the contact with your teeth. In that way, you are protecting your teeth.
Right, now let's talk about another way of using it apart from drinking it.
Yeah, you can also mix it in with your salad dressing. You make your own salad dressing at home. That can be another source of ingredients that you can add, so that you increase the intake. So you can add it to your dressing, the olive oil and lime juice, however you make it, by adding a little bit, 1 tablespoon of that can be mixed with it. If you feel like you can't drink it, that is another means that you can incorporate or add it to your diet. Definitely.
That's really important. If you can't drink it, it is always good. You could do it in a salad. The other thing is, if when you are buying it, look for ones that says unfiltered. Let me see if I can block the camera here. Yes, you can see it. It says raw, unfiltered. Those are better than the filtered ones, because you want to have as much of a rawness, or what we call the milk or the mother, the pectin, the fiber. Everything should be in there. So that's the one that contains the probiotics. So make sure that when you're buying, you look for ones that say raw or unfiltered, at least on it.
Mother.
Or it says mother on it. Let me see if I can also see the mother on here. Yeah, you see somebody, if you can see, it says with the mother. That's what you want. With the mother. That's what you want. Yes. And organic is even better. If you can make sure that it is non-GMO organic, those are all good reasons to buy from those sources. All right, and I think that's about it, right? Those are the steps, the guides to how to use it. If you have any questions and we didn't answer it, or if you are a fan of apple cider vinegar, you do it all the time, and let me just make sure that let's refocus. Yeah, you can put it on the comments so that other people can also learn from your experience with it. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the disadvantages or potential side effects of using apple cider vinegar, and some of the reasons why you may not be a candidate for
candidate,
that, you
yeah.
probably shouldn't use it. If any of these things happen, which we're going to start that.
Yeah, that's why we encourage you to talk to your doctors.
Yes, come on,
Your
talk to your
doctor
doctor.
first,
Talk to
right?
your doctor, yes.
Because everybody's health condition or the way that you react to things are different. You know, if you hear on Facebook or TikTok or somewhere that somebody is claiming that it really works, you know, that is for that person. Maybe the person does not have certain conditions that you do. So you have to be careful when you decide to do that. The noise again. Okay, so the first thing is like if you have this acid reflux, you know, you have problem with acid. You eat anything acidic foods, you feel like you have acid coming down your throat or coming up. You know, that acid reflux problem. If you are such a person, this is not recommended for you. Or even if you want to use it, the dose may not be up to 2 tablespoons. Maybe you can cut it to half a tablespoon or 1 tablespoon. You don't want to do 2 tablespoons if you have this condition, the GERD, acid
My goodness,
reflux.
acid reflux. If you have acid reflux, you cannot take it. You cannot take it. Remember that very well. And I saw some thumbs up and some likes from Facebook. Not all of them are showing here, so I can't put it on there, but we can see that those of you who are doing that, and also on the other platforms, when you hit the like and the thumbs up, we appreciate you, and we appreciate when you share it also. Thank you so much. Now, the other thing is, apart from acid reflux, there's a condition called gastroparesis, or simply put, if your GI tract is slow, you know, you cannot empty your GI tract fast enough, which is actually something that happens with long-term diabetes sometimes, you know, because of the nerve issues that we have discussed on the channel. At some point, sometimes your GI tract does not, you know, contract and relax quickly enough. It becomes slow. So when you eat, it takes a while for you to be able to get it out. In fact, at some point, we even have to treat patients with medications just to make sure that stuff comes out, you know, or else it results in constipation and all that because of the slow moving GI tract or slow movement of food down your tube. If you already have that, then you cannot use apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, because one of its mechanism of actions is to slow your GI tract so that, you know, you don't pick up the glucose, you know, where you usually do. And so if you're already having that issue, it's going to get it worse. So if you have gastroparesis, or if your doctor has told you you have any condition where you cannot, or for simplicity, if you are always constipated, that is a sign that, you know, your GI tract is not moving quick enough or as well enough for you to be able to slow it down again. So definitely you cannot use ACV or apple cider vinegar in that respect.
And also, like, there are some medications that side effect is gastroparesis.
Yes, some
medications, yeah. So it slow down the movement of food in your GI tract. So if you have that condition, that you're taking medication that is slowing down the movement of food, and you are also taking the apple cider that is also slowing down, that can be a problem. So like we said, you have to know the medications that you're taking and your health conditions before you include that.
And if you are not sure, you can always ask your doctor or pharmacist. They will let you know whether or not it is safe for you. So that is very important. I mean, some of the injections that have come out, you know, the magic injections that people are using for weight loss and stuff, essentially that's what they do. They slow you down.
The Ozempics
and Trulicity and all those. Yeah, they slow your GI tract down, so you may potentially not be a candidate for ACV. You know, unless your doctor says, "Oh, it's not slow enough, you can use it." Then, of course, you could. But I'm pretty sure if you're using that, you probably don't need apple cider vinegar. But suffice to say that keep that in mind, that if you have any medication or any condition that slows the movement of stuff from mouth to the back there, then of course it is not something you should be taking. That would be counterproductive. to say the least, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is if you're also on some medications that we term diuretics or water pills, because some medications, water pills, they get rid of water from you as potential drug interaction in that respect too. So you have to talk to your doctor, and if not, just stop using apple cider vinegar in that respect.
And if you're using insulin to treat your diabetes, that is something that you want to talk to your doctor first before taking the apple cider, because the study shows that if you are on insulin, it's likely that the effect is not going to be that great, right? So it's not recommended for people that are using insulin.
Not recommended for those people. All right, and then I think the last group of people are people. I was telling Gifty that these people, we shouldn't even say that, because already they probably shouldn't have diabetes, but people who are bulimic, people who cannot eat for fear of gaining weight or whatever reason, when they eat, they try to throw up everything again. You are not eating, so you should not be using this on top of it, because this is trying to stop you from eating and gaining weight. And you already have a problem of keeping things down, because psychologically you throw up everything because you don't want to gain weight. So potentially not something you should even dare use apple cider vinegar. All right. So with that being said, we can go to the next point, right? What's
Yeah, I think that's all.
That's the last. Okay. So we can end here then, and then ask questions if anybody has a question or anything that we need to touch on that we did not. We can potentially mention it, and then we will call it a day and go watch the Super Bowl. All right. All right. So practically, I just a quick thing before we close. Practically, I think that especially from the standpoint of the studies, I think that if you have diabetes and you're doing everything, you're doing all the things we discussed earlier to reverse your diabetes, such as with your diet, with your exercise, with intermittent fasting, and you don't have any of those issues we have mentioned, then adding 1 or 2 tablespoons a day to your diet to get the benefit of 0.5% glucose reduction or A1C reduction may be all right, But if you have other issues going on that you don't know, I would say just stay away from, especially if you are taking pantoprazole, Protonix, for acid reflux, which a lot of people are, and you're diabetic. A tablespoon or 2 of apple cider vinegar, to gain 0.5% reduction, I would just stay away from it and just concentrate on your real diabetes treatment. So basically, you have to trade the benefit with the cost, of what other things that might be coming. Some people think that because it's natural, this is not medicine and it works. Yes, but how much is it working? We are talking about 0.3 to the tops 1.2% reduction of A1C. A1C is a measure of glucose, in 3 months for the most part, how much glucose has glycosylated onto your hemoglobin, right? It's a measure of how you are doing in terms of your sugar in your blood over a long period. And the worst is, anyway, anything over 6.5 is considered diabetes.
Right.
Pre-diabetes, diabetes, right there. If you are 14, you are deeply diabetic. You probably have signs of complications already, right? And we are hoping that you come down to less than 6.5 and potentially to 5 or 5.5, which is good, or 4, which is perfect, And if apple cider vinegar is going to give you only 0.5 to 1.2% reduction, yes, I know that Gifty me said, but every little helps. But what about the other issues? If you have, gastroparesis, which a lot of diabetics already have. If you cannot empty your bowels because it's so slow, you struggle to even go, you have to use anti-constipative medications all the time. You have to do stuff to be able to go. Then the 1 or 2 tablespoons may not be what you need, because it's going to compound other issues for you. So don't say that, natural. People hear natural and natural. No. You got to weigh the risk versus the benefit. So what I'm saying here is that, yes, the hype is there. Everybody's hyping it. But make sure that the hype is not a bad hype for you, because if it's going to hurt you, it's going to be a bad hype for you. You have anything to say?
Yeah, so I think like you were saying that people keep asking you whether this one works or it doesn't work. The scary thing is somebody may say it in such a way that you are ready to throw away your medication.
Oh, come on, man. which is the worst thing, right?
Yeah, you are ready to throw away your medication. You are ready to stop the activity that we are encouraging you to, the diets, the right food choices, and you are hearing that, oh, don't worry, you can eat your carbohydrates, you can eat anything you want, because two tablespoons of this is going to help cure your diabetes. We are here to tell you that there are studies that support it to a point. The highest was only 1.2%. That was even with diet. Even with diet, and without it's lowest at 1.2. So if that is what you're going to do, you're going to throw away the way you eat. That we're encouraging you that you have to make the right choices, because somebody somewhere is telling you that vinegar helps. Throw away everything and just do this, because this is natural. It has no side effect. So this is the way to go. We are here to debunk that is not true. So we are saying that it's not stand-alone therapy. It is an add-on. It's something that you want to supplement to what you are already doing, so that your control becomes a little easier. Because as we all know, it's not easy to control the A1C in the long term. Sometimes it's out of your control. Sometimes you're doing everything the same, but the numbers are not going down. So we are here to encourage you that you can add this to whatever you are doing already, and that may bring it down a little down.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So don't go throw away, because there's so much hype out there. There are facts, there are studies, and we are here to help you in this journey of diabetes.
I think with that, we are good. We don't see any questions. We are doing good on all channels.
Down.
Let me see if there's anything here. Yeah, that's the last one. No other questions. And did the study say how much? Okay, I think we answered Tina's question earlier. It says, did the study say how much we should drink? And we said 1 to 2 tablespoons, and that's it. 1 to 2 tablespoons. Another thing that you could do, which is not being talked about this time, is olive oil. 1 to 2 tablespoons. That's got its own thing, but we'll talk about that next time. All right. So with that being said, we want to say thank you for joining us on the Super Bowl night. And we're going to have fun. I believe you had fun. Just make sure you share, like, do all the thumbs up and all the good stuff. And until we see you again, we say, Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
God bless.